Hey everybody, it's Scotty from Scotty's Record Shop with another artist profile. It wasn't the one I was planning on doing. It's kind of weird. Life happens while you're making plans, isn't it? I had posted a video I had made earlier today about September vinyl finds obviously on YouTube, but I also pasted it to my Facebook page. And a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, another record collector, had said, I really like your artist profiles. Why don't you do one by this artist? And my first reaction was, and he even was like, I'm not kidding, really, please do one. This is one of my favorite artists. And my first reaction was, yeah. And then it was like, oh my God, I have most of this artist's albums. So what can I say? I like them. Before I get into the artist profile, obviously you know who it is because you saw you saw it on the header, on the whatever they call it. Herb Alpert. My friend John Bollier, who does a radio show at WRBC here up in Maine, as well as I do, does it. And I want to do a plug for his show since this is inspired by him. Every Saturday night from 10 until midnight, all you have to do is go to WRBC, or just look up WRBC 91.5 FM. I think the website's actually like wrbcradio.com or something like that. But if you look up WRBC, you'll get our website, and then there's a link where you can click, like, listen on iTunes or whatever. Every Saturday night from 10 until midnight, his show is called The Big Old House of Wax, and this should interest people in the vinyl community because he plays nothing but vinyl on his shows, which anybody who really knows anything about radio now is incredibly rare because most everything's played off of hard drives and stuff now. But we still have two working turntables. The girls are still working at the radio station most of the time. And John brings in a lot of vinyl and he plays it. And a lot of different types of music too. So check that out. So that's my little plug to you, buddy. I don't have everything. This is mostly going to be like Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I really like Herb Alpert. By the way, all this stuff is on the A&M record label, and the A of A&M is Alpert. So he was co-founder of that record label. First started putting out albums in 1962, and I'll show you that album with the Tijuana Brass. And the prime, I guess, would be the 60s stuff for Herb Alpert. However, in 1980 he came back in 1979, period anyway, came back with another solo album and had a #1 hit, and I'll show you that one too. But let's start it off, I guess, huh? For John, let's check it out. First album from Herb Alpert and Tijuana Brass, Lonesome Bull, 1962. There's your back on this one. Most of these are 60s pressings, but I don't think that this is an original first pressing. I know it isn't. It can't be. But I'll show you the label just because A&M's stuff, their labels varied a little bit. They all had that tan kind of, with that label, but they varied as far as how it was set up and stuff over the 60s. And I don't know enough about their label to really comment and say, oh, this is definitely an original pressing. I know that these are all 60s pressings. Okay, the next one, he got real original on the name of this one, Volume 2. There's your backside of that album. And I probably won't show you every picture. I'll let you see the label. They're all pretty much the same. Like I said, all pretty much 60s pressings. The third album from Herb Alpert is an album called South of the Border, which really is, if you know about Herb Alpert's music, you'd know it's this is a very good description. South of the Border. There's your backside. Not your backside, but the record's backside. I don't really care to see your backside, and you don't care to see mine. Trust me. Anyway, okay. The next album we get from Herb is an album called The Going Places. None of these are gatefolds, by the way. I'll show you when we get to a gatefold what it looks like. I gotta explain why I keep moving these things. Is I use a magnifying software on my laptop. So like I don't see the full screen, so I have to kind of like jiggle it around a little bit. I'm sure that you pretty much see the whole thing, but I don't. So that's kind of my own way, knowing that you are seeing the whole thing. Anyway, going places. Yeah, my screen is like magnetized. I'm doing really good. 4x. So it's pretty big for a little screen. This is the vinyl's in great shape, but the cover is the worst shaped cover of all my Herb Alpert albums. 1965, very scandalous cover. Whipped cream and other delights. I've seen this by some of you out in the VC before. It's kind of the one that a lot of people have. It's a great album. Sold really well. And got him into a lot of trouble with that cover. And, we go to SRO, the next album by the Tijuana Brass. Again, it's the same, pretty much the same label configuration. That's why I'm not pulling them out. And these really don't have, well, I mean, some of them, here you go. Here's an inner sleeve for that, okay? Just in case you're interested. An interesting side note, I was born in 1966, as some of you already know. The album that was #1 on the week that I was born was a Herb Alpert album. And it was this one, Where Now My Love. #1. I mean, Herb Alpert's kind of overlooked now, but he had more than one #1 album. Singles, he didn't do all that great. They did okay, but okay, then our next one is Sounds Like. Herb Alpert. This one's still in the shrink. And let me show you the inner. I don't know if this is even original or anything, to be honest with you. Herb Alpert albums are very easy to find. And, very inexpensive. And again, I'll show you just because. There we go. Let's see what the label looks like. Yeah, and it's one of these things where if you're interested in listening to his music or finding out about it, they're very easy to find. They're very inexpensive, so it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Here we go. This one is, I believe, the 9th album, I believe. 9th, yeah. There you go. The back of the cover. Moving on, like I said before, Herb Alpert was not immensely popular single-wise. I mean, he didn't have scores of #1s. He did have a couple of #1 hits, and this one, 1968, he hit #1, and he wasn't playing his horn. At least it wasn't the prominent part of the song. He was singing. And the album is The Beat of the Brass. This is the album cover. There he is with his horn. And this is a gatefold. The song that went into #1 in 1968 was a song called This Guy's in Love, which I happen to really like that song. It's very mellow. It's a very sweet little love song. We're getting into 69-ish or so now. What is this one? Tijuana Brass. This is one, I believe. Yeah. Here you go. Let me check this one out. I think this one's also in shrink. Sorry, my cold is just murderizing me here, and nighttime is always a yucky time. And just to show you the inner sleeve of this one. Again, I'm not sure if this is this can't be an original inner sleeve. So there's your label again, your A&M just to show you that it really didn't change much. Like I said, these were all, I believe, 60s pressings. Again, like always, if I'm incorrect, feel free to correct me. Let me know down at the comments or PM me and say, hey, no, dude, these are all early 70s. Because the early 70s A&M label looked really similar as well. All right. All right. The Brass Are Coming, 1969. Another gatefold. Hopefully you can see this. Because I can't. And that's the majority of my Herb Alpert collection for the most part, or the brass anyway. Here's a greatest hits comp. It's kind of a good little compilation. There were a couple of them. I'll show you the back. This is kind of a gatefold. Well, not kind of, I guess it is. But the interesting thing about this is how the record comes out. The record comes out here. Got to pull it out halfway so that you can see. It comes out in the center there. That's how that comes out. It won't go back in. There it is. Okay, so I was telling you in 1980 he had one final hit. In the 70s, by the way, he did put out music. He put out a couple of great albums that I don't have on vinyl with Hugh Masekela. Great stuff. And some other stuff. The Brass put out a few albums as well. I don't have them again on vinyl, but this was his kind of a comeback, so to speak. Rise. Kind of an interesting album. Definitely a change for him. And let's see what we got for an inner sleeve. We have a basic plain inner sleeve for this one. And that's the A&M that a lot of you guys know from the 70s. So anyway, for John, that is my Herb Alpert vinyl collection. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, you know where to put them, right down at the bottom. Until next time, everybody, peace and love.